What's going on, guys? So I wanted to keep you guys updated on this Qidi X-Max. So I've been having an enormous amount of problems, and it's been very frustrating, but I've got to give it to their support. I was literally ready to send this thing back to them because I haven't had it that long, and they were actually willing to take it back, but they wanted me to pay part of the shipping. But because the support has been aggressively resilient, surprising after my first experience with them, but they really turned that experience around. This is another pile of parts after the last time that they sent me. They sent me another BL Touch because I told them I don't like that other probe, the new one that they made, because I think it's flawed because it scratched the shit out of my bed. It can't tell the Z offset. Anyways, all of which is why I needed this, which they also sent me, which is an upgraded eMMC and the reader for the other one. And then they've already sent me this stuff. If you saw my last video, the higher ventilation housing for the front and rear with the extra fans in it, and they sent me another one, which I don't think I'm going to end up using either one of them, because I'll tell you in a minute why. But they also sent me another board for the tool head, which they already sent me one of. I didn't even know they were sending this much stuff. Then they sent me two hot ends because my hot ends were cracking at 300 plus. So they sent me two high temperature hot ends, and they sent me then a new USB cable and a new extruder because I was getting an extruder error code. So they sent me a whole bunch of parts. I'm going to change the eMMC real quick, and hopefully I think that's the main part of the issue. And then I've already replaced the pin in the BL Touch before this came. I ordered a set of pins, so I'll have that for a backup. And then this stuff, I don't know how much of it I'm going to end up using, because the hot ends, I'll show you real quick. So I'm modifying a sort of like an Ender 3. Well, it is an Ender 3 type. Two of them, actually. So I made on my CNC machine a little aluminum piece to go to the two holes that mount this, right? So this Spider version 2 Creality head can go on there, and I also converted the cables because I like the removable heater and thermistor. So there we go. That's the heater and the thermistor. Duke, go lay down. That's the removable heater and thermistor, and that's converted to the Qidi plugs, and this one is converted that way. This one is a larger head on the bottom, the hot end, and I had to machine the top down a little bit. You can see the copper exposed because there's copper inside. So this is supposed to be really good at transmitting heat, which a lot of people have said about these particular tool heads. Hot ends rather. And so this is going to fit. I did it this way. That's going to be where the nozzle goes. I just have to machine it down a little bit because the Qidi nozzles are not quite as long as this one. So I'm machining the whole hot end down a little bit. It's going in the CNC, so it's perfectly smooth, but I'm doing it exactly the depth I need to, because I'm taking a micrometer or a dial indicator caliper and checking the depth with this part screwed in that goes into the Qidi heatsink. And then this one I did it so I can change the whole heatsink, which I may eventually do on this one too. I have the heatsink for it. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not yet. And then I actually even have a third one that I've modified. It's another different one. And then this is the whole fan set for that tool head, which is why I might not use either of those covers. So this has 3 fans, one on each side and one in the front, and they're bigger than those, other than the one turbo fan. But these are PB 3010, 24 volt, and these have spliced wires, and then they have the wire connectors that go into the plug. So I can take those wires out of the plug, put these into it, and then I can splice it into all 3 into one if I want, but you don't need to anymore with the new small board that they added to this for the extra fans. I can actually do them all separately. So I'll just solder those together, put some heat shrink, and then I'll put new fans. I'm going to try it and see how it works. I'm not going to do that in this video, but I'll do a follow-up video just to show you whether or not that did work. But right now I'm just doing the eMMC upgrade because it comes preloaded with the software that I need. And hopefully my voice is better in this video. I did do some adjustments after getting the new camera because the sound on this Sony is so good that it's actually making it too loud the way it was set for the GoPro and my old camera. Okay, so there's the old board. That's the old eMMC. So it's literally just 2 little screws. And this is the part that can read them and re-flash them. So I can plug that into here and plug this into my computer, and then I can re-flash this. But this one is supposedly already programmed, so I can just put this right in, and I should be able to get past that main screen that it was stopping at before, and then I can finish machining these parts, and then I can possibly just either not use those or use parts of the, I mean, I have a couple more hot ends now. I wasn't waiting for all the stuff that they sent because I didn't know how long it was going to take, but that's another thing. They got it to me relatively quick, about 5 days. So from China, that's pretty good. There's not too many other places that get it here that quick. So my experience and my opinion of their support has changed dramatically because, you know, that first time they took a while to get back to me was it. Ever since then, they've been prompt, they've been on top of it, they've been like right there and like willing to work with me. Even if I had to send it back, even though they wanted me to pay for part of it, they were willing to work with me, and they were willing to, you know, come to some kind of an amicable resolution. And they didn't blow me off, they didn't not answer me, they were on it, really. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, pussyfoot around it or not give them credit where they definitely deserve it, because honestly, they really do deserve it. They really were on top of this problem with me, and the last one too. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the problems are a nuisance whether they're on your side and have your back or not, but it's always better when the company backs you up and they're willing to help you, you know. So obviously I think that pretty much goes without saying, but it's made a tremendous difference in my opinion of the company. I have a much higher opinion of them now. And, you know, this product, I feel like it was probably rushed out. And, you know, us as the consumers are doing the research and development for them, which kind of stinks. But at least they've been supporting us as if it were their own employees. Like, you know, whatever parts we need, they send them. And, you know, initially it didn't seem like that to me, and people were saying I never had any problem with their support, and I thought they were all full of it, or either full of it or they had gotten these printers donated to do reviews on, and they were helping them because of that. But as it turns out, I don't know if they saw my video or not. There's no way for me to know that, but I don't really believe that that's why they're doing it. Just from my impression talking to them, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know the answer, but I don't feel like they have any ulterior motive to help me get this squared away. So that being said, let's see what happens. Hey Google, turn on QIDI printer.
All right, turning QIDI printer on.
So let's see. You guys can witness it with me. It's got the new eMMC board in it. I'm not going to change the other board. I just changed the other board. I told her that wasn't necessary. I think she had already sent it out. And then they even are going to send me a new build plate because of all the damage it did with that other probe. It scratched it all up. I mean, it didn't know where to stop. It was just driving it right into the plate. Oh, it's doing an update, writing data. Yeah, it wasn't even getting here. It was just saying starts abnormally, you know, that message I'm sure you guys have probably seen, or most of you, some of you anyway. But anyways, I wanted to let you guys see, you know, just how much their support has changed, in my opinion. And for them to change my opinion that much, they had to really step it up. I mean, I must have like 80-something emails going back and forth with their technical support person. It's a woman, and she's been incredibly helpful and very thorough following through, especially with the time difference. I mean, I'm up late a lot of nights too, but some of the times that we were communicating, she had to be like really working overtime. So I'm blown away really by how much it's changed. Their customer service, their after sales support has changed dramatically. Or for me anyways, it might have just been a bad time when they're when I first started dealing with their after sales. It may have been a bad time for them at that time. I don't know, but I can't really think of too many other causes for it to change this dramatically, because this is really dramatically. So I don't know. I'm gonna try out the other tool heads. I mean, I have the Intamsys FunMat HT coming in. I'll do a review on that as soon as I get it. And I've been reading and doing research like I do with everything, and people say that it needs like there's an aftermarket extruder, and it was called a BMG or something, and now they have an even more upgraded one that's fully milled. It's CNC milled, which I could CNC mill it, but I don't have the pancake stepper and all that, and I'd rather just let somebody do it than, you know, it was expensive. It was like almost $400, but still, I mean, the amount of time it would take me, I could make more than $400. So it's not worth it for me anyways. If I had nothing else to do, I probably would do it. If I didn't, you know, work as much as I do already, then I probably would do it and it would be worth it, but right now it's just not. So I'm going to format this thing or reprogram it with what it needs so that I can have a backup. But yeah, so the FunMat HT takes these same type of hot ends. The whole setup is the same, like the heating element, the thermistor, and even the heat sink, I think. So I should be able to use these for that, even if I don't decide to keep them on this machine. I'm going to see how it works. And I think the one that this is very similar to the one that is originally on the QIDI printer. And that part, I figured I could use the extra fans on something for sure. I know I could use those for something. Where was the rest of it? I was going to take it back and machine it. Here it is. All right, so there's a cylindrical heating element that goes on this, just like on the QIDI. The only difference is this one is removable, which is a pretty darn big difference, honestly. Where's the rest of it? This stuff is kind of strewn about because I had to just, in the middle of doing a bunch of stuff, I had to run out because my fiance's family was over for dinner, and I told her I had to come back and finish some stuff up, but I would run over there in the middle, which I did, because she didn't tell me until, you know, not that long ago today, so it was very short notice, and it was a bad time for me because I had a busy day today. I have a video I started last night that I didn't finish, that I got to finish tonight, and tonight she plays soccer as well, so that's a good night for me to do it. All right, so for the other one, this is the heating element. It's a cylindrical heating element, and it goes over this. And then there's this piece, threads on the top. So this is not exactly meeting with the part that goes into the original heatsink from the QIDI, as well as the fact that that's not meeting, and neither is the nozzle to the top part is not meeting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna thread this down all the way, and then I'm gonna put this in the CNC, and I'm gonna just take some meat off the top and probably a layer or two off the bottom to get rid of that extra space so that I can have those two touching. And then I usually put them on the lathe, and then I mill a chamfer into it. I mean, I turn a chamfer into it so that they meet, like male and female chamfer, so that they meet well and they seal, because out of those threads on the top, I've gotten leaks there, and I know other people have because I've seen their videos with the same thing. So I know from past experience, this thing updates for a while. It takes a while, so it's not doing anything wrong. It's just gonna have to do its process, and while it does, I'm gonna go mill the rest of these and machine the rest of these, lathe, mill, whatever I have to do. So I'm gonna take my measurements and go do this. Maybe when I'm done, I'll add another portion of this video before I put it up, so you guys can see how these hot ends work out, because if it works for me, then I'm sure it'll work for you. If anybody wanted to do that. It's you know, if you don't have the right equipment, it's going to be kind of impossible to do it, because I'm using, like, this is what I use to take the measurements, either because a micrometer is very difficult to take, especially interior measurements. So I use this this dial indicator caliper because it's a lot more accurate than a regular caliper. I have multiple regular digital calipers too, but this is the most accurate kind. I recently got this because I got by with micrometers and stuff, but I've recently, taken my machining up a few steps. So I've gotten this. I actually got a micrometer that's specifically for measuring inner diameter. So it has 3 anvils that come out, and there's multiple. They're very expensive. I mean, some of these intense measuring equipment are like, $500. It's even more. Even my go no go set was like $300 for the pins. The go no go handle was not too expensive. It was like $30, but still, I got all the way from 61 thousandths to 500 thousandths, and it cost me like $650 for the go no go and all those different sizes, which has come in handy many times. And they're precise. They're very precise, so they're worth it. But if you're going to get into really detailed measuring for CNC and or 3D printing, just be prepared, because it's not an inexpensive hobby by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm going to get to the rest of this, and I will get back with you guys once I have some results on the hot end and I get this thing finished. I will definitely add a clip because I want you guys to see this thing running right, and I want to see it running right, so hopefully it will be. But also, hopefully by then I'll have the hot ends, at least one of them ready to put into it and see how that goes. All right, so I will add another clip to this, and then I'll put it up as soon as I can, because hopefully it's helping you guys out that have other QIDI printers. But if you don't have one and you're looking into getting one, I'm sure they've gotten better by now when you first get it. But even if it's not, their after sales support is on top of it. I really had the wrong impression by my first interaction, and they have really redeemed themselves with me, because that long time it took them to get back to me one time, and then now having some real experience with them, they really have had my back and really have helped me out throughout the whole process of fixing this printer every time. So don't be scared to buy one, even if there are problems with it, which I'm sure they're resolving a lot of them now, because they're coming out with all the parts they need to fix it. So I'm sure their new printers are shipping out with the other eMMC on it. But anyways, I wouldn't be afraid to buy one. I wouldn't be afraid to buy another one myself now. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes. I'll add some more to this video, and hopefully I can show you this printer working with a modified E3 hot end on it. Later. Hey guys, so I'm actually very happy to report that I did all the stuff that needed to be done to the QIDI, and guess what? It's printing a benchy. It looks like pretty darn good. So I'm gonna put the camera down in there and let you see. It's going at it, and it's coming out really good. I'm very surprised. It really needed that eMMC, because I couldn't get it to stop that screen message, and that's it. That's actually a benchy keychain, but it's coming out surprisingly well. And I didn't change the tool head yet. I did finish one of them. The other one, so I haven't tried the Creality one yet, because it turns out the fans that I ordered were for a typical M6 hot end, not for the Spider Creality one, so I have to order new fans for it. But this one I did get done, and it's in the other heat break. This is the one I showed you before, and so there's the heater and the thermistor and the fan, and then it has the other fans on the tool head. This will go into the original tool head. The other one, that one, when I get it hooked up, is going to skip the whole, this whole heat sink. So it's going to have its own fans. I have to order the right fans for that. But this one I'm probably going to try a little later. But I had to machine this down. So if you don't have a CNC or like a professional level mill, it's not gonna be something you'll be able to do. Or you could just use the nozzle that comes with it, rather than the way I did it. I did it so that the QIDI nozzles will fit this, because the only nozzle I had for that was the one that came with it. And I just don't want to have to go buying all new nozzles when I have a ton of nozzles that fit that, and I have a ton of the shorter ones because all my bamboo printers have aftermarket hot ends. And I ordered an Entamsys FunMat HT, and that one takes these same kind of hot ends. So they'll all work on that for lower temperature material. I'll have to use the one that comes with it for the high temperature because it gets like really hot. But anyways, so they prevailed once again. I'm very surprised. It's actually printing surprisingly well. And the BL Touch is working good. It leveled itself. It wasn't doing any of that before. It was really making me question if I had to brick this printer, but it came through in the end. So I'm eager to write them a very pleasant email. So you see, I wasn't ragging on them in the beginning. That's just really what happened in the beginning, and this is really what happened now. They sent me stuff really quick, the parts I needed twice now, 2 different occasions, 2 different problems, and they followed through and they got me the stuff I needed, and they got me up and running. And I got to give them their credit because they earned it. You know, they definitely stood up and backed up their product. So that's all I wanted to. That's the only point I wanted to make, is that I'm pretty taken back because when I first got this printer, I thought I was going to have no support with it at all, and that just hasn't been the case. In the beginning, it was momentarily. That's what made me think that, but they really picked up their slack and made a go of it. So hopefully somebody will see this. That, you know, in the beginning, I was giving honest feedback then. That was honestly my experience. Now I've had better experience with them, and you guys should know about it because, you know, I'm not trying to rag on any company that doesn't deserve it. If they stand up and back up their product, they deserve credit for that. So, and these people did, for sure. They really surprised me. So hopefully that'll give somebody some information who's trying to make the decision whether or not to buy one, that they actually will back it up after you buy it. So, you know, if I needed another printer that was in the 350 or 300 Celsius range, I would buy another one. I still like the 4 material system for the bamboo. That's kind of what sways me. I mean, this has the build volume, so I'm in the heated chamber, but with the FunMat, this is going to be obsolete as far as high temperature. So it's kind of like in the same range with bamboo, because honestly, these bamboo printers print the PC carbon fiber and even regular PC extremely well. Like, I haven't tried it on this yet because I haven't had it while this was running. This has been down for a minute now. But anyways, it would be a hard call. If I just needed something that was a little less expensive, because you can get this for like $900 now. I paid more than that when I bought it, but this would be about $900 now compared to 14 with the multi-material system. So yeah, you could save like $400 or so. But honestly, the multi-material system is pretty awesome, to be able to have 4 different things and not have to hand do anything every time. Even do multi-color prints and not have to do anything. That's kind of the game changer for them. But this is printing just as fast, and I mean, right now it looks like it's printing just as well. Yeah, it's coming out pretty damn good. I do have a diamondback tip in there, nozzle, but I do in the bamboos also. So anyways, the punchline is that they really stood behind their product. They sent me the parts, they got it working, and we got it working together, and they have been aggressively responding. You know, we've like I said, we had like 100 email communication since I had this problem, going back and forth on things that I could try, and, you know, different downloads and firmware and et cetera, et cetera. And meanwhile, she had already sent all this stuff out, and by the time I did the research and found out about the eMMC, she's like, oh, that's already in the box that I sent you. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And when am I going to get it? Oh, in either tomorrow or the next day. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. And they just were really good. So Anybody that thought I was ragging on them, you can take a look at this video and see that I wasn't. I was telling you the truth, and I'm telling you the truth now. So, anyways, have a good day, guys. You know what? This box, I might need to keep that away. We're gonna finger that out. But this box and this box, I probably should have. This thing's gotta get emptied. And all that trash has to go out. And I think the dumpster's empty. Hey Siri. Call me, cutie. Hi, so why am I a poopy head? Well, you're a freaking poopy head, you freaking poopy head. You're a super duper pooper head. Anyway, I'm trying, I got a bunch of trash I gotta get out, and I still have more trash in the back parking lot from when I had all that shit from the job over here that I put in the dumpster, and I filled it up so much I had no room for my regular trash, and it was like overflowing because the tenants are putting stuff in there. But it honestly saves me a lot of money from dump fees, because a dump for a trailer like that is like a couple $100. And I pay a couple $100 a month for the dumpster here. Well, more, almost 300. So yeah, it saves me some money. Okay, baby, I love you. I'll be home as early as I can. I still have some stuff I got to do, but I'll be there as soon as I can. Okay. What's going on, guys? So one last clip from this QIDI expedition that I've been on with the repairs and all that stuff. So if you guys have seen any of the other videos, just in case you haven't, this is I'm just going to summarize this video. So I got this printer, and I initially had some problems, and I had a really hard time getting a hold of support to help me out. And that was my feedback, that I had problems very early on, and it was very hard to get support for those problems. And since then, I have had a very different experience, and not just once. So I had a couple problems twice, two separate occasions. I had problems, multiple problems. And the first time they got back to me the same day, the email, and the second time they got back to me the same day. I don't know what happened the first time. It must have been a fluke. And not only did they get back to me both times, sent me firmware, sent me parts, sent me videos on how to install the parts. Were very, very prompt with that stuff. So I'm realizing why people were saying like they had a good experience with the support, because the support's actually great. The woman that I dealt with, hold on, I just want to actually mention her name because she was incredibly helpful and pleasant to deal with. Olivia, and Olivia's her name. She really was very pleasant. She was really very helpful and sent me more than I asked for in parts. Like I had a couple of hot ends crack over 300 degrees. The ceramic cracked. They sent me 2 new hot ends. I don't even know. They had nozzles in them. I don't even know what ones they were, because I had replaced them on my own before I had gotten these. They sent me like what it came with, one hardened steel and one brass. So, and then another USB cable, which they sent me on the first repair, and then the more ventilated with additional fan covers for the front and back. So they have the additional smaller fans for more cooling, which was a problem initially for the clogging, and this one has the turbo fan and another one on the side, and then you have the hot end fan, so you've got 4 fans in there. It's actually pretty good. I'm probably, when I put this other hot end in that I adapted right here, I think I showed it just a little while ago in the video. I adapted this to fit this big. This is a copper block that's dipped in hardened steel. I mean, and it really is. I mean, I had to machine it down. You can see the copper. So I machined it down on the CNC to make the nozzle fit right up against this. And I gave a chamfer on both ends on both the nozzle, and the nozzle is going, it's going into the end of the top part slightly. Just a chamfer going around the outside edge and around on the nozzle and around the inside edge on the top, so that sits right in it nice and tight, right down to the 1,000th of an inch. That's right up against it, so it shouldn't leak at all. But anyways, I haven't tried that yet, but that's not what this video is about. It's just something I was doing at the same time, so I included it. The main point of the video is that QIDI support has been mind-blowingly good for somewhere that's out of the country. Like, they're even responding at times where I don't even know what time it is there, but it's got to be like the middle of the night or some random time. So the benchy that it printed out, that it was printing earlier in the video, the finished product, I don't know if I showed it already or not. Where the hell did I put it? Anyways, while I'm looking for that, until I find it, I can show it. Just finished. This is a printer test with overhangs and all that. It came out pretty damn good. I'm looking at the rest of it as I'm showing you. Yeah, it came out really good. There's holes on here and cylinders. It came out really good. And look at the overhangs, how well they came out. It's actually doing just as good as the bamboo. Pretty darn, it would be a close call. I mean, I'd have to look at one of the ones from the bamboo compared to this and see if there's any difference, and if so, what it is. Where I have some old tests that I did on the bamboos. There we go. So there's a few of them. Well, I don't know. It might be the filament, but yeah, that's just a little glossier. That's all it is. This is just a different filament, but I mean, the letters are just as defined, and the overhang is just as sturdy. And it starts to blur the numbers. A matter of fact, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers on the bamboo. At 60 and 70, they're getting really blurry, and 80, they're really blurry. On the QIDI, at 70, they're not blurry. They're starting to at 70, but 60 doesn't blur at all. It actually blurs quicker on the bamboo. That's surprising. That's very surprising. I'm wondering if I use that same filament in that printer, how that would do, because this is a different filament. So that would be a good test. I might do that. But anyways, I just wanted you guys to see the quality of the print, and that's the first and second print. The benchy was the first. The keychain benchy was the first. Here it is, right here. The benchy came out really good. I mean, so the keychain part didn't, because I needed supports, but you see, like the walls of the benchy, it came out phenomenal. I don't know if I've ever had prints come out this good on that printer. It's really impressive. So whatever they had on the firmware on that eMMC, it came out. It turned out to be just what that printer needed, and that now I have the adapter that I can flash the other one. So I have another one if I ever needed to do that again, and another BL touch if I need that. And I had I had already ordered the replacement tips, so I've already replaced the tip on the other one. So now I can replace it again if I need to, multiple times, or the whole thing, and the bracket that mounts it, the exterior housing for the tool head with the fans, a whole new board for the inside the tool head. They sent me a whole bunch of stuff. Really, they were very generous and very kind and very prompt and very easy to deal with. Versus, they were even willing to accept it back. I probably would have had to pay the shipping or a share payment for the shipping, but I mean they were willing to take it back after this much time, so that's saying a lot to me. Anyways, let me know what you think of the audio on this part of the video, because this is the camera directly. There's no it's not, I don't have a body mic on. So the rest of the video I did have one, but this had great sound when I tried it in the past, so I figured I would use it for a minute because this is just a short segment. But anyways, if you're on the fence about the QIDI printers, the X-Max 3 is a green light, because if I needed another non-multi-material printer that could do higher temperatures, like middle temperatures, because the last printer I didn't get it yet. I just ordered a Fun Mat high temperature, or the new one, whatever it's called, the Extreme or Advanced or whatever the next version is called. But I ordered that, and I ordered that because there's some materials that I want to print with that this printer is just not going to do, because the bed temperature is 120 where that one's 160. The chamber temperature is 60 on this. It's supposed to be 65, but it really only does 60, and it has a hard time maintaining that. But I mean, that's a lot higher than a lot of other printers. I mean, for the price, it's higher than any of the other printers. Even the Bamboo is a lot more. Without the multi-material system, it's not much more, but there's no heated chamber at all. So as far as, like, Creality doesn't have a heated chamber, nobody else has a heated chamber or better temperatures than them for that price anywhere. You can't, I don't think you can find it a better price with higher temperature printing at all. So I don't know how they could have done any better for the price. I mean, if they had insulated it to make it retain that heat better, it would have had to be a lot more expensive and have multiple heaters and all that stuff, which is why I just spent $7,000 on, on some PEEK and PKA carbon fiber, or PEKK carbon fiber, and Ultim and ABS carbon fiber, whatever. Some bunch of filament and a couple extra tool heads, but it was $5,500 for the printer on sale from $6,000. So, and this is right now like $900. It's a no-brainer. It's really a no-brainer. So that's my input, and you guys saw from the very beginning. If you didn't see, in the first video I showed everything right to my credit card receipt, that I paid for this out of my own pocket. This is not a paid review. It's not even a donated printer review. I bought this printer on my own. I was going to buy it one way or the other. I did the review because I wanted to give my honest feedback. In the beginning, it was negative feedback more than positive, but now it's more than balanced out. It's actually on the positive side for sure, because those problems initially, yeah, they were frustrating, but the company backed it up, and they did. In the beginning, I couldn't get a hold of them, and I ended up having to figure stuff out on my own by the time I did. But I don't wait very long before doing it on my own. I mean, a phone call and then I'm already doing it. I'm just impatient and self-reliant that way. But for some people, that probably would have been a reasonable time frame. To me, if I don't hear back the same day, I'm already, not even really the same day. It's like really that, like, if I don't get an answer. So that's on me, but they did get back to me eventually. They did hold up their end. They did, uphold the warranty. They sent me a lot of parts. Even both times they sent me more than I needed. So I didn't even ask for the probe and the magnetic thing the first time, and I didn't use it, but that's just my preference. I think this is more like an actual touch probe on a CNC. That's why I prefer it. I don't like the other one. Plus, it scratched up my bed. And anyways, either way, the printer works phenomenal with the BL Touch, and I'm getting really good prints, as you can see. So I'm giving you an honest review all the way through. So take it for what it's worth. And if you're on the fence about this printer, don't be anymore, because you'll get a printer that works, and if it doesn't, you have a company that really is there to back it up, and it's not make believe. Like, they're really there. They're going to send you the parts. You'll get the stuff to fix it. You'll get the support to be able to do it if you're not technically or mechanically inclined. They'll help you, and they'll give you how-to videos and all that kind of stuff. They're very aggressive. I mean, they're very surprisingly responsive. I'm the last one that expected to be doing a review like this based off of my first impressions. So, I mean, that goes to show you, they turned a customer who had a bad experience into a customer who had a good experience with loyalty at this point. It's a big turnaround, and obviously they made a big difference in that time to make that impact. So that's something to consider. Anyways, have a good day, guys. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you.